Hey guys, it's Comic Central here, and today we're going to be doing another history episode. Today we're going to be doing the history of the Marvel race of superhumans called the Eternals. With that small introduction out of the way, let's get into this video. The Eternals first appeared in the Eternals issue 1 of July 1976, and were created by famous comic artist Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby made this group after he came back from working at DC, where he made the New Gods. Because of this, he created the Eternals for Marvel. When the Celestials came to Earth 5 million years ago, they did genetic experiments in early proto-humanity. This experimentations created two separate races, the Eternals and the unstable, grotesque race of the Deviants. These experiments also led to mutations that made regular humans, like you or I, to have superpowered mutations. The Celestials also did these experiments on the races of the Kree and the Skrulls, each with similar results to the humans. The Eternals look human, but have lived for much longer. However, they were not originally immortal. This kept the Eternals from having much contact with their human cousins. The Eternals have a low birth rate, and the Prime Eternal chooses which Eternals can and can't reproduce. They can breed with humans though. This doesn't have Aquaman-like effects though, and it instead produces just a regular human. Although a half-human, half-Eternal has Eternal characteristics. The Eternals have protected the human race against the Deviants, who they have always had hostility with. The Eternals developed highly advanced technology as well. A very long time ago, a civil war broke out between the Eternals over whether they should conquer the other races or not. One side was led by Kronos and the other by his warlike brother, Uranos. Kronos won the fight, so Uranos and his soldiers left Earth and travelled to Uranus, where they built a home for themselves. Some of Uranus' side attempted to go back to Earth to restart the war, but were attacked by a Kree ship. This forced them to land on Saturn's moon of Titan, where they once again built a colony. The Kree captured an Eternal and performed experiments on him, which led them to Earth to experiment on raw, untouched samples. This experimentation from the Kree created the Inhumans. Kronos' experiments in cosmic energy created a massive release of energy through the Eternal City called Titanos. This destroyed the city and activated latent genes in the Eternals, but also killed the scientist. The Eternals now could channel high quantities of cosmic energy, something that granted them near godlike strength. This accident left Kronos' mind existent, but his body was not so longer, so a new leader had to be chosen. The Eternals merged into one being called Unimind to decide which of Kronos' sons, Zuros or Alas, would be the leader. Zuros was chosen, so Alas decided to leave Earth to avoid another civil war. He ventured to Titan. Here he found a war that was supposedly caused by the Dragon of the Moon. This war killed all of the people on Titan except one woman named Sui-san. Alas fell in love, and eventually the couple repopulated Titan. Due to the genes of activated and unactivated genes of the Eternals between the couple, a new Titan race was formed that was not as powerful as the proper Eternals. While Zuros ruled, 3 new Eternal cities were built, the first being Olympia, which was located in the mountains of Greece. The other 2 Eternal cities were in Polia, Siberia, and in Oceania, which is in the Pacific. This new Greek city was built near the main portal between Earth and the Olympians' dimension. This led to many Greek people being confused between the near-godlike Eternals and the true Greek gods. This led to an agreement that some of the Eternals would impersonate the Olympians before their worshippers. Roughly 18,000 years ago, the Celestials came back to Earth. The Deviants attacked them, but the Celestials attacked them back. This resulted in the sinking of Mu and Atlantis, and wreaked worldwide havoc. The Eternals helped by rescuing many civilians caught in the crossfire. One Eternal that goes by the name of Vulcan was trusted enough by the Celestials that he was entrusted to keep an artifact of great power safe. At some point during the early centuries, Icarus and the Eternals came into a fight with the evil mutant and Seven Nur, more commonly known as Apocalypse. The Eternals and Icarus came out victorious, and they believed Apocalypse to be defeated. Just a mere 1,000 years ago, Thor encountered some of the Eternals, but the encounter was erased from his memory to prevent him from learning about the Celestials, who were close to returning to Earth once more. An Eternal named Ajak became the voice for the Celestials and put himself to sleep when the Celestials left, to wait for their return 1,000 years later. Sometimes during the early 20th century, a human scientist made contact with a clan of Eternals of Uranus, called the Uranian Eternals. He was taken to live among them with his young son. His son would later become known as Marvel Boy. These Uranians were later killed by Death Urge. After World War II happened, some of the Eternals allied themselves with the humans, and the Deviants went on to form the Damocles Foundation. This Deviant Foundation had the intent to create a new breed of superhumans to rule over the Earth. Some Eternals, such as Macquarie, were active superheroes or lived amongst humans. They kept their true nature hidden from the world. The Eternals also helped the Inhumans move their city into the Himalayas in order to keep it hidden. At some point, Thanos, who was an Eternal of Titan, nearly destroyed it and the Eternal colony on Titan, but they were luckily able to rebuild it. The Eternals of Titan, such as Star Fox, would also help Earth's heroes combat Thanos in times of need. When the Celestials finally returned to Earth to judge the worthiness of their creations, the Eternals found themselves once again fighting the Deviants. The Eternals finally decided to reveal themselves to the humans. Zuras feared that this would happen anyway if the Celestials judged unfavorably. The Eternals eventually encountered Thor again and were attacked by Odin and the Olympian gods, who tried to stop the Eternals interfering with the gods' plans to attack the Celestials. The Eternals eventually decided to help the gods and formed a Unimind like I talked about before, to assist the Destroyer's assault on the Celestials. The Unimind was forced to dissolve back into regular Eternals by the Celestials, and the shock of this attack killed Zuras. Before Zuras' spirit left the material plane, he told his daughter Thena to take his people and explore space. More of the Eternals did this instruction as a Unimind, but a few that were involved in earthly affairs remained behind. Since this moment, the Eternals have helped the Avengers against many threats and have also discovered the existence of the Eternals on Titan, called the Titanian Eternals. More recently, the Eternals have begun to appear more frequently on Earth. Most of them seem to have no memory of their history or abilities except Icarus, and no records of them remain. The Eternal Spirit, named Sprite, was mad that he had to stay as an 11-year-old and was unable to grow any further, so he managed to give all the Eternals amnesia and alter their perceptions of history. This is done to rewrite history for them and act as a retcon for the Eternals. A group of Deviants kidnapped Macquarie and used him to wake the dreaming Celestial. When the Celestial awakes, the Eternals go on a quest to recruit more members that have forgotten who they are thanks to Sprite's trickery. The Eternals can be affected by a disease called Deviant Syndrome. This syndrome makes them look more like Deviants than Eternals. The only known Eternal that has been affected by this disease is the Eternal from Titan, Thanos. All Eternals can join together to make the Unimind, but this isn't their only power. They also all have psionic powers, enhanced strength to varying degrees, and they also all have very long-lived and are virtually immortal. They can also project cosmic energy from their hands or their eyes. Eternals do vary in powers though, and these are just the common ones, and not all Eternals may have these powers. Some may not, most will though. The average strength level is also superhuman. Two of the most known Eternals would have to be Thanos and his brother Eros, or Star Fox. And that does it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that said, I'll see you guys next video. Bye.